if anyone wonders why I make videos like right after I wake up, it's because I lose my nerve if I don't. Okay, so sleeping, and then I wake up to this sentence. You think that you're loving, not to me, me saying this to people, me saying this to someone I don't know, me saying this maybe to you right now. You think you're loving, but you're hating someone, something. You're hating something or someone. And you may not be, starting a war today, tomorrow, the next day, next week, or next month, next year, the next decade. But that hate that you're allowing yourself to feel today is moving you towards war. The hatred that you allow, any hate, any and all hate that you allow today, this moment, that moment, right now, any hate you allow now moves you towards war. Somebody asked me a great question. Why do you have two different empowerment groups? Why did you take conservative men and put them over there? Why are you dealing with them separately? Because anyone who identifies really identifies with. So there are people that say, well, I'm kind of liberal, or I'm kind of conservative, but that's not who I am. I'm not talking about those people. I'm talking about the people who identify a certain way. Are cogs, for the most part, not all, because not everybody's soul is going to let them hate. So there could be staunch Republicans or staunch Democrats, and maybe some staunch socialists, but that's hard to believe. They would more likely be regular Democrats. But anyway, that there are people whose souls will not let them hate. So on all sides, there are people whose souls won't let them hate. Thank God for those souls. But for the most part, everybody else that's not, working at stepping back and going, wait a second, hold on. What do they want me to believe? What do they want me to believe? For the most part, everybody is a cog in this dark, disgusting machine. And I'm on the side and I'm looking at this dark machine. And these people are just cogs in this machine, and it just keeps moving forward. And you may not see a war that you're in, but if you're in this machine, you're in it. You are a cog in the machine, supplying some form of energy towards wars. There are wars happening now. There is war happening now. There's wars in the world now, right now. And if you are, there's two totally different realities, completely different realities. So on Fox News, they'll show the whole thing of what President Trump says. So they'll say, they'll show him say the whole clip. And then on the rest of the news, they'll only show him say there were good people on both sides. The good people on both sides was Charlottesville. And on Fox, they'll show him say, and I'm not talking about the neo-Nazis and white nationalists, because those people should be condemned totally. So they put that on Fox, they don't put it on the other ones. And then the other networks, and that's a big ball. Those networks very fine people on both, fine people on both sides, fine people on both sides, fine people on both sides. It's just one of them, you know. And the grab them is, when you're rich and powerful, women let you, you know. Then that'll be shown on Fox. Women let you, but then they take that off there, and they don't show it on that side. And so, and then they, you know, I don't watch television really. I just watch snippets. I'll watch C-SPAN, and I watch hearings. But then I heard some lady from a long time ago say that even C-SPAN is scripted. I'm like, oh God. So I, at that moment, I'm like, when I heard this lady from the past, you know, way back, say, even like C-SPAN, even those hearings are scripted. And I don't know if she's telling the truth. I really don't. I'm not even gonna, it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. It's just the fifth agreement. Be skeptical, but learn to listen. I'm not gonna take the time to figure out if she's telling the truth. I'm not gonna research that. There's no point. There's no point in researching that. If there's a point in researching, which I'm coming to, then I do that. Okay. So, it's amazing, like, what you can do. Malcolm X has some great quotes, but you can't even like quote Malcolm X, even though he's got great quotes, because he's a divisive figure. Everybody's just a divisive figure. Okay. Now, the point is, any hatred in you, any hatred in you, any of it, maybe not today, maybe not next decade or 2 decades from now, my chemistry teacher, a chemistry teacher, I was like, what, 15, 16, and she must have been 20, 30, or something like that. So she's 10 to 20 years older than me, right? So then she would be, you know, maybe 70. She was like the nicest person in the 80s. She was so fun. But whatever hatred lived in her heart, whatever, it was watered and it's grown into what it is now, and it's insanity now. Now it's at a point where it's insanity. But it had to have been allowed by her. And same with my aunt, like, she's retired and she watches all the news. Not all the news. She watches the left side news. She only watches the left side news, the left side shows, left side comedians. Let me just say right now, I watch snippets of Colbert, Jim Jeffries, and I mean, holy crap, there's so much hate. Holy cow. And like, Jimmy Kimmel was the man show, and the Me Too movement skipped right over, and I'm like, wait a second, like, and I'm not a Me Tooer, I'm like, I'm just watching all, and just like, listen for a second. When you stand far enough back, it is so ridiculous. Jimmy Kimmel putting stuff in his pockets for girls. I mean, it was all a joke then. It was all a joke. And Jim Jeffries is like the king of rape jokes. He was hitting on a woman, you know, that was on a show with him, and he was just like talking about raping her, like multiple times. And then Al Franken is like doing this in a picture. And he's like, it doesn't make any sense. I'll tell you, like, what's happening in the world with other human beings is so much more entertaining than anything that's trying to be entertaining on television. Way more entertaining. So if you can sit back, if you could pull yourself back and really witness, it's what George Carlin, you know, so George Carlin was asked by Dennis Miller, this is in the beginning of my book that I'm writing, and Dennis Miller said, this is a long time ago, I don't get it, George, I don't get it. You and I, we think the same, you know, how come you're still laughing and I'm so cynical? We think the same way, And I'll never forget it. George Carlin goes, because Dennis, he says, I'm gonna cry because he was so hurt. George Carlin was so hurt and broken by what he saw, which is what I see now, but it's not breaking me, but I watched him. He says, because Dennis, you guys want to fight and kill each other, go right ahead. He goes, you're in it, Dennis. I'm just on a cloud looking down on all the nonsense. He goes, if I don't like it, I'll just change the channel. He treated it like just one of a ton of television shows. And he said, Dennis, you're in it. It's not funny to you anymore. You're cynical because you're in it. And when he said it, that he was on a cloud looking down on all of it, he said, you guys want to kill each other? Kill each other. I don't care. And he was laughing. And he was like joking. He was laughing. And when I heard George Carlin say, you guys, you kill each other, I just watch you all kill each other. And it's just hilarious. And when I get tired of watching you guys kill each other, I just change the channel. My jaw was like, bam. Because, you know, I was very familiar with George Carlin, and I'd seen him and, a couple times, and actually, because, or whatever. And then I was empathically feeling what he had experienced through his whole life. Like, his comedy is all about the nonsense and the sheeple, as people are called, sheeple, and like basically you're all getting screwed, and it's a big club and you're not in it. Was one of those things. And I'm honestly not talking about politics, because politics is such a small, when you stand far enough back, politics is such a small piece of this huge thing that we have. Like, okay, so the point of this video, just to make it clear, is any hate in you, any hate that you allow in you, any hate may be small today, it may be palatable today, but somebody that wants to use you as a cog in the machine, that's, you know, it's, your guys, whatever hate that lives in you, whatever hate that you allow, it's palatable. I only hate this one person, or I only hate these people. You know, it's palatable to just hate one person at first. Trump or Hillary. It's palatable to just hate one person. Take your pick, it doesn't matter. Trump or Hillary, you know. It's palatable, and so you allow it. I just hate that one person. And then the machine is going to water that hate and grow that hate, because your ego can't help itself. It seeks out information that you already agree with. So whoever you've chosen to hate, okay, whichever side it is that you've chosen to hate, is righteous. Okay? And so your ego is going to seek out nothing but information that, you know, that it already agrees with. So if you've chosen someone to hate, you have a very good reason. You have a very, very good reason for that. You believe in that reason, and you're right. You think you're right. I'm just hating this one person. Okay, you just hate that one. And you're right, you can hate that person. And then you hate everyone that supports that person, if it's Trump, or you hate everyone that believes or supports this person, whoever it is. It starts with one person. You allow yourself to hate. I allow myself to hate this one person. And that's all it is that day. And then, through your ego doing its job, providing you only information that tells you that you're right. That's why we have totally different news, you know, Fox versus CNN, MSNBC, all of them. and take your pick. Like, you don't like CNN? There's MSNBC, or there's ABC, or there's CBS, or there's NBC. Like, you take your pick. Oh, I like this newscast, or whatever. That's where I get my news from, because this is the person that I've chosen. And that person is going to provide me with reasons to keep hating, this watering and feeding the hate that I've allowed on this side. Or Fox is allowing me to only get information that allows me to hate a person or people that I've already chosen to hate over here. So the hate starts out small on both sides. Well, first the division happened, and I'll get to that in a minute. The division happened. No one seemed to notice, except for me. and then, so they're divided first. I mean, politics is the red in a rainbow. It's one color in a rainbow, seriously. And people have turned it into the end-all be-all. Anyway, it's okay, that's your choice. But I'm doing these videos for the people who are either also looking at this machine and going, why is everybody doing that? Or the cogs in the machine that are like, I don't feel good. I feel anxiety. I feel like I'm going to throw up. I weigh 300 pounds and I can't seem to get my weight under control. I just can't be happy no matter what I do. There are cogs in the machine rolling down, going in this direction that is really dark. And some of these cogs are like, I don't feel good anymore. I just don't feel good. And then I'm there on the side going, hi, I'm over here. Can you hear me? Yes? Okay, then just come to me and look at all the hate that you have for whoever you have, and just pull the weeds. Just pull those weeds and throw them away. That's the beginning of all your problems. The hate you have for whoever you have, the little bit that started or a situation, hate for anything. The hate you have is what started it, and how it made you into, a cog. That's how you came to be a cog. And so if the cogs start to leave the machine will finally fall apart. That's what I'm doing. That's why I move people into two different groups, because somebody, not me, turned people into two groups, and then used the little hate in their hearts and fed it and watered it and grew it in two separate chambers, and then put them as cogs into this dark machine. Okay. Where war is inevitable. I mean, war, whether it's like war or just that. I'm not even going to go into it. But you get the idea. Okay. So, and I was just watching the show for so long. For so long, I just kept my mouth shut. I didn't say anything. I just was watching the show, and I'm like, okay, whoever's ready to leave that machine will find me and find my voice and what I'm saying. And then someone asked, I felt like someone was, my ego felt attacked. My ego felt attacked. And so I ended up calling my friend and saying, I need to talk to you, like a therapist friend, not like a therapist, and not like a friend, like treated as, I want an hour of time, as if but on the phone, So I asked for a session basically, but on my terms. I asked for a healing session. I knew exactly what I needed. I knew exactly who the person was to ask, and I asked for that, and I got it, thank you. Because everything you really want and need is provided, everything. When you go, so I reached out to this person knowing she was going to say yes. I saw it in my head happening, so I knew it was going to happen. So my soul, my spirit just says, this is what you need, an hour with her. Okay? So I see it, just like my dogs. I see that's my dog. That's my dog, I know. Before, so, okay. I can see it, because my third eye is operational, it's functional, That when you work on your third eye, you can see you could see that all these people are just, all these grown-ups are just children throwing tantrums. They're just old children. And they're just being used. They're just being played, you know? And I love my aunt, and I love my family members who are doing what they're doing, being cogs in this machine. I still love them, but I don't want to be around them. You know, I don't want to be around the cogs in the machine. And when I decide to be, it's usually because for my children, for my kids. I want my kids to have an experience of family. So I'm with them, but I'm doing it for watching my kids be loved and, you know their family. Even though these people are just cogs in this machine, I could spend time with anyone. I could spend time with anyone, okay? Anybody. And if the person's vibration is so low, or if I don't want to be with that person, it's a growth opportunity for me while I'm with them. It's a time for me to do my work, my spiritual work on myself. So when if I had to sit there with, someone I really don't want to be around, okay? If I had my choice, but that's not going to grow me. So I'm around people I don't want to be around, and I ground myself, and I relax myself. I focus on my breathing, and then as I'm with them, I listen to the stories that my ego mind is telling me. Ugh, look what she's saying. Ugh, so my ego mind is entertaining me with rejection of a person, or rejection of what that person said or did. Oh my God, she's doing this or she's doing that. She's watching that show. Oh my God, right? So that's my ego going, ah, oh my God, can you believe? So it's just a channel on a television. There's a channel on TV that's ego channel. That's the ego channel that I'm listening to. Now, skeptical, but learn to listen. So I'm listening to my ego tell me these stories of rejection of this person. If I just witness the stories that my ego is telling me, these stories are just my ego talking, entertaining me. It's us versus them. Like, I can't believe I'm superior. I'm superior than her. Or I feel so stupid, I feel fat, or I feel ugly, or I feel no one's listening to me. That's an egoic mind story. I'm less than, or I'm not as good as. I'm not as good. So you got these ego stories. So I'm better than her, and I'm not as good as that, or I'm less than. I'm better than, and I'm less than. So you got this ego channel playing in your mind. Then, as I watch the ego channel, listen and watch the ego channel as I'm in my mind, I'm training my mind. I'm listening to that as I'm aware of my surroundings. As I'm doing that, pay attention to my physical body. What's going on in my physical body? Do I feel any tightness? Yes, my lower abdomen. It's like, does it shake? Okay. I'm just going to breathe that. I'm just going to breathe it. Or if I can tap. I know tapping looks weird when you first start, but trust me, very quickly, as it makes you feel better, it gets easier and easier to just go like this. And, at some point, there's going to be a big chunk of people going, yeah, yep, okay, all right. Okay, so I said, sometimes everything feels perfect. Sometimes you're able to just totally relax into the peace of the moment. And all other times are growth opportunities. All other times are growth opportunities. Okay, now, I did my session with my friend over the phone, and then I ended up making this video that was over an hour long, called The Real Me. And in that video, I let it fly. About climate change, the climate change. So I don't generally like alarmists of any kind, but the climate change alarmists have really taken it up a notch. And I want to just, since I already and since I already said in that video, I'll go over quickly. All right. Well, no, okay, I'll start from the beginning. All right. So a long time ago, like I'm a hiker. I'm like an outdoors person, and I love the world. I love the planet. And as an airline pilot, I flew around a lot of the planet. And I understand why people who live in cities think that the world is overpopulated. They've been told that the world's overpopulated. And, yes, people, the cities are chock full. And then you see trees, as you drive along roads, you see trees being cut down. So you think, oh my God, it's deforestation. And I wrote a paper in college, and I was the class clown in high school, as I've said, but I got an A+ on a 23-page paper in college, which is like, not me. And I was like, oh my God, I got an A+. I don't think I ever got an A+ on anything. Well, mythology I did, but A+. I was like, 23-page paper, and I got an A+. Crazy. Anyway, the title of it was Our Virgin Forests Burning with Controversy. And talked about the logging industry and how our loggers, so people log here, they ship our trees over to China and lesser developed nations. We're shipping our trees. That's how many trees we had, or that they thought we had. Anyway, lots been done since then. So, but it was about deforestation. Okay, then I became an airline pilot later, and I saw how big the globe, the Earth is so humongous. Like, it looks like it's flat, but it's so big that it just curves. And so you got the surface of the Earth, and then you have all that's inside it. Like, it's massive. This Earth is, like, it's mind-blowingly massive. Just our Earth is mind-blowingly massive. And then there's more planets, and more suns, and more solar systems, and like more galaxies. Like, it's like mind-blowing. It's so mind-blowing. All right? And then, I don't want to tell you how I know certain things, but I know, like, the stones in the earth, the gemstones, we don't have to dig them up and own them. They'll work with us from the inside of the earth. So right now, I can just call on any and all amethyst stones that want to work with me and heal my thyroid, heal my body. I don't need to work with all of them. They're very powerful, and they stay where they are, and they stay clean, they stay healthy. They love to do this. And I could call on all rose quartz, or I could call on all, shungite is the thing that helps with the EMFs. You can use the shungite. People have created shungite rooms for a lot of money, but you can use the shungite that's in the earth now. Okay. Now, this earth is so big, and I know it's easy for people in the cities to believe that the earth is overpopulated because that's what they see. That's their reality. But there's it's just huge. Okay. But I love the earth, and a long time ago, when it was called global warming, I was freaked out. Like, a long time when it first came out, I was so freaked out, I was so scared. And so I believed in it. believed in it. And then I said, if it wasn't real, why would they say it? If global warming wasn't real, why would they say it? That led me to doing research. So I started doing research with the intention of proving global warming. Okay? And then through that research, I realized, they want me to get upset about carbon dioxide. And in my video, The Real Me, I talk about carbon dioxide is 0.04% of our atmosphere. It's like 71% nitrogen, 28% oxygen, and then there's 1% remaining, which is like argon and all these other gases. So carbon dioxide is 0.04% of 1%. So not even half of a percent, not even half of 1%. Okay, it's not even half of a 100th of a percent. That's what we're dealing with. That's the gas that we're supposed to be screaming about with our heads, like chickens with their heads cut off. 0.04%. If you don't have a percent, so 0.5 would be half of 1%. And this is 0.04. So that's like 40/100ths. It's not even half of a 100th of 1% is carbon dioxide. And you know, so I looked into it. I thought more people would like look into this, and more people would like, because I don't even think I'm very smart, but I'm starting to think I'm smarter than I realize. Okay, so carbon dioxide. People buy carbon dioxide to pump into greenhouses to make their plants grow lush. And what happens with, and so Patrick Moore was the founder of Greenpeace. He says you can't have too much CO2 because extra CO2 gets absorbed by the ocean, and then the plants in the ocean grow more. And so, I mean, I don't know, but maybe the population has increased, the world population has increased, and maybe the slight increase in carbon dioxide is to feed more plants, because we eat plants, is to provide more food for the inhabitants of the earth. Okay, I don't know. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is people are insane right now talking about, and then they changed global warming. The earth warmed 0.8 of 1 degree in 150 years, so less than 1 degree. So in 150 years, the earth warmed 0.8 of 1 degree. And then they said England was never going to have another winter. That didn't happen. They said all the polar ice caps were going to be melted. That didn't happen. There's more polar bears now than there ever were. And then, like, all these things, right? So if you look in all these things, okay. So then they changed it to climate change, and they're pointing things with climate change and the sea levels. The sea levels didn't really rise, like a millimeter or something in the highest spot, whatever. We were supposed to have climate change refugees. So I have a photographic memory, and I remember getting scared by climate refugees and this, and nothing was happening. And I was like, okay, so why would they say it if it's not true? Why would they say it? And then this thing, finally came upon this thing called Agenda 21. And I read all about it, and I was like, well, that's not going to happen. I mean, that's just crazy. No one's going to fall for that. That can't happen. They can't do it. That's not going to happen. All right, so then I keep sitting back. I keep watching everybody. I'm living my life at the time. I'm a pilot, and I'm flying all over the world, and I'm, just living my life. And then I get married, and I have kids, and I'm living my life, and I'm having my dogs, my aunts, and then do my meditation, do my healing, do my teaching, all this, and then now we're at this point where people are really. Oh, and then I see Bill Nye like set a globe on fire. He's like, and I'm like, oh, you've got to be kidding me. And I see people like Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, saying what she's saying, and the Green New Deal, and then this guy, Mike Lee, from Utah, did this. I mean, he made fun of the Green New Deal in Congress. It was hilarious. So I'm watching all these things, and I'm just watching. I'm this, bystander of the world, and then I get this. This thing with cockroaches. You got to fight. I'm like, fight. Why do I need to fight? I don't like to fight. And through that, I'm going to make another video. But it's really it's not that I don't like to fight. It's that I was afraid. I was afraid to fight. And at the same time that stuff was coming up, I didn't know I was afraid to fight it, but the cockroach stuff and the you have to fight stuff's coming up at the same time. All this other stuff that these people are saying, if you don't take a side, then you're the worst of all the people that exist in the world, you got to take a side. Or it's like if you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything. It's like if you don't take a stand, if you don't take a side, then you're part of the problem. Stuff like that, and it keeps coming up, and I'm like, am I part of the problem? Am I part of the problem? And the whole time I'm just sitting back and I'm watching, just like George Carlin. I'm on my cloud and I'm watching all the people fight, and I'm watching AOC, and I'm watching Bill Nye set these globes on fire, and I'm like, you know, I've done all this research years and years and years ago, you know, and then I'm at this bookstore and this young girl's like freaking out. I mean, she's not even in high school, this girl, and she's freaking out about global warming, climate change, whatever. And I just said to her, you know, because it wasn't really, I wasn't, you know, she's young, and I said, well, I'll be 50 next year, and the world is supposed to already end a couple times, you know, just a little thing, calm her down, because she was lowering my vibration with her fear, and there's no point, you know, I was thinking, there's no point in me talking, there's no point in me talking, there's no point in me talking, that's what I'm saying, like all these years, I'm like, there's no point in me talking, and then the cockroach, so I'm like, maybe there's a point in me talking, and then when I realized I was afraid to fight, and Neem Karoli Baba says it's not about fighting, it's about being a warrior. Sort of like, this is what I believe, like, maybe these people don't know, maybe, you know, because what I don't understand is somebody told you something, the world is going to end, and then you just believe it. You don't look into that at all, and you don't, like, how is the world going to end? Wait a minute. The world's going to end because we have too much carbon dioxide? What? Wait a minute. No. You must be, there's got to be something else. There's got to be something else. Oh, cars and carbon emissions. Okay, but they're talking about carbon. And carbon is the base of all life form. And carbon dioxide, like, it's carbon plus O2. And 28% of our atmosphere is oxygen. So, you know, there are toxins and pollutants. Okay, but then I started, you know, and then a long time ago I saw John Brennan he was CIA, talked about putting aluminum and barium in the atmosphere. It's called SAI. I'm like, wait a minute. Who said you could put crap in our atmosphere to combat global warming, climate change, whatever you're calling it right now? Who said you could put aluminum, which they've linked to Alzheimer's and all these things? You want to put, I don't know if they did it. I don't know if they did it. I really don't. But I heard him talking about stratospheric aerosol injection and what they're doing to combat these problems that they see. And I'm like, holy crap, why are you putting aluminum in the atmosphere? Why are you messing with the earth like this? And people are so small compared to like the earth. But I don't want to put things in our atmosphere. I don't want to combat something that only some of you people believe in, excess CO2. Not everybody believes it, you know, because when I was so scared about global warming with the intention of proving it, that it does exist because I believed that it did, I found all this stuff that they wanted me to believe, that you have to believe a lot of things in order to believe in global warming, climate change. And at some point the wheels just fell off the cart for me, and I was like, well, why are they pushing it? Why are they pushing this? Because really, like, the planet is so old, and we've only been here like a part of the time, a small part of the time, you know, we've only been here part of the time. How are they saying that, if you, like I said, if you fly over the globe, the people, you see where the people live because of the lights. There's not that many people. Yes, billions sounds like a lot, and it is a lot, but the size of this planet is insane. So like billions spread out, and there's chunks of people in the cities, but then there's people, you know, and they're not even all over, because there are so many untouched places still left on the planet. But the people in the cities are looking at their reality, and they don't believe it. They don't understand. And say, why do people need guns? Well, some people live where there's animals that threaten their animals, you know, and they need guns. You know, if my husband didn't have a gun, I have a hound dog that would have died twice. But anyway, We have bobcats, we have foxes, even the raccoons will kill all your turkey. They killed all of our turkeys, So, whatever. Everybody's having this different experience of life, and everybody's fighting. It's like, you're all cogs, you're all being used. So when I found Agenda 21 explained why global warming, or climate change, whatever you want to call it. Agenda 21 is, it's about, and I never want to talk about this ever. I want people to, I've mentioned it here and there in a video or there, but I've never actually talked about it because I don't want to. So I'm going to just briefly mention Agenda 21 is why they push global warming. It's also called Agenda 2030. And they're doing it. California is like, and Nancy Pelosi, there's an old video where she was like not shaking and not, and like composed. I love watching Nancy Pelosi talk because she reminded me of when I was drunk in high school, trying to pretend that I wasn't drunk. So I do like watching Nancy Pelosi speak. I think, but I do like a lot of things that I think are funny. I just don't get wrapped up in it, but it's funny. So a long time ago, when Nancy was younger, she was talking about Agenda 21 or Agenda 2030. I don't remember, but it's really kind of the same thing. And part of Agenda 21 is moving people into moving people into what they're calling smart cities now, but moving them into like a stack and pack thing. They call it stack and packs. And people with cell phones in California are driving around, and have been doing this for years, showing people what they're building. They're building these stack and packs. And then if you watch the show Black Mirror, that's Agenda 21 stuff too. It's Black Mirror. Whoever created and writes for that is like, I would guess that they're coming from our technology has surpassed our humanity, and we're heading into a place that we're not going to be happy. And this is Agenda 21. You are moved into, so the government does more and more and more and more and more for you, and you get moved into these places where the government takes care of everything. So you're in these buildings, you don't have your house, you don't have to pay a mortgage, you don't have to work, and then you only work a little bit, and you live here. Okay, and then through the 70s, there's all these movies about, so I watched Logan's Run, and when the red thing on your hand, and The Simpsons had this on an episode, when the red button on your hand flashes, it's time for you to go and you die. Because like, it's only all these young 20-something beautiful people on the planet. It's pretending to be this city, and everything's done for you, you're taken care of, and you just live this beautiful, marvelous life. But then you get killed, because if the government's doing everything for you, they're not going to keep you, past your usefulness. And that's also Soylent Green. And there's a woman that makes these memes, Soylent Green Productions, actually. And I wasn't watching Soylent Green, but it was on at my dad. And so it was the end. And he's like, have you ever seen this movie? And they're like, the people were screaming for Soylent Green, which is their food. And then, what's in Soylent Green? And then this old man finds out, but he's not telling the guy from the Charlton Heston. I'm almost 100% sure it's Charlton Heston. And then he finds out Soylent Green is people. So it's your turn to die. It's the same thing. So Logan's Run, they're killing them in their 20s, and then Soylent Green, they let you get old, and then it's your turn to die, and you pick the music, and you pick the scenery, your favorite color, all the stuff, and then you go in and they make death like it's this beautiful thing, but you're still being put to death. And then all the bodies get put into a truck, and then so Charlton Heston's like watching the truck, and he sees the truck, the bodies get loaded into this thing. Okay, and then you got Elysium. I didn't see 2001, but somebody else mentioned it. So Elysium is, the elites have their own planet. And this is like what George Carlin was saying, like, there's a big club and you're not in it. He's talking about these people who live on the planet Elysium, and everybody else is down here. And the AI robot cops just kill whoever, so the people never have to get their hands dirty. So we're getting into this AI and all this stuff. This is all part of Agenda 21 too. So they're putting people, the goal of Agenda 21 is to have all humans living in these smart cities. And then they can, put up the 5G, monitor everybody. The facial recognition gets fed into the AI, and so some people, and I'm just gonna run through this fast, but so Facebook started around when DARPA ended, and DARPA was a surveillance thing. Okay, so I don't want to talk a lot about this, but you get the idea. So it was the global warming people were pulling on one side of the rope, and the Agenda 21 people were pulling on the other side of the rope. And I was like, okay, well, because I was like, if everybody believes in global warming, we can make it happen because of our minds. And oh God, what's her name? The woman, Marianne Williamson, she's running for a Democrat. She said, if we all put our minds on pushing Hurricane Dorian away from, I don't know exactly what she said. Somebody sent to me, I just skimmed through it briefly, but basically she's saying we all use our minds to push the hurricane away, we'll save all the people. And so so she said that. Max Egan from the Crow House, who was ripped off YouTube, I don't know if he's back on or not, said, if we all wake up at the same time, we will literally fix the world in 3 seconds. And he's talking about the same thing as that, not just using these minds to push a hurricane away, but everybody wake up at the same time and fix the world in 3 seconds. And he doesn't have anything against anyone either, Max Egan. He's like the Clintons or Trump, all these people with names, it's like they're just pieces of a puzzle. I know I gotta go. This is too long. But anyway, so I was happy that the global warming people were being challenged by the Agenda 21 people. I don't want either reality to happen. I don't want global warming, and I don't want Agenda 21. But I for years I watched them pull against each other, and I was like, okay, great. They're pulling against each other. It's just like in the law of attraction when you say, oh, I want a new bicycle, but I don't have enough money. It's like, I want a new bicycle, but I don't have enough money. Because you could get a new bike a different way. Somebody could give you one. If you just focus on how you feel it's like The Secret, I think, has it. Focus on what you want and how it makes you feel, and then the law of attraction will bring it to you. And it doesn't have to be materialistic. If I focus on 2,000 level vibration, the law of attraction is going to bring it to me. Except I'm going through this kind of stuff and growing pains in order to get there, but I asked for it. I asked for it to set the intention, All right, so I'm watching these people pull against each other, and I just let it happen. I've just been watching this for a long, long time. I've watched people pull against each other, and I have allowed everybody to live like that. And then, I don't know, maybe I'm supposed to say this now, pull more cogs out of the machine. Because the farther you get back and you see the machine and you see all the people, my relatives, and these people, they're just cogs in this machine, and you see these people, you can love them. I used to get really frustrated by the fighting. I hated the fighting, and I had to work on that hate for me. I had to bless, forgive, respect the free will choices of all to fight and love them anyway. And I had to deal with whatever hate is in me about that fighting. And because even though it's not one side, it doesn't make me any better, it's still hate. And so the further I stand back from that dark machine, and all the cogs in it are loving people, and I've said, you're all hearts, you're fighting triangles, and those triangles are not marching with you. The hearts are fighting other hearts. It used to make me sad. I'm just watching it now. But maybe this little extra piece of information, because this is a very long video, for the people that, I was like, I don't know, it's like 10 or 11 or 13 of you people that listen all the way to the end, which is fine. I totally understand. I don't know if I would listen to me. I don't watch these. I'll probably watch it once before I post it, but that's about it. And, you know, it's the hate in you that's the problem. And by dealing with just the hate in you, you can get yourself to a place where there's no hate. And once there's no hate in you, then you provide a pathway for anybody else who wants to stop hating. That's all it is. I mean, I can't pull any of the cogs out of the machine. They still want to be part of that machine. They're still being played. They're still being used. You know, they're the useful idiots. It's called the useful idiots. The Agenda 21, useful idiots of Agenda 21 fighting each other to get to this this idea of a utopian paradise. And it's really hell, actually. It's actually human hell. And someone that passed showed me, showed me what it is. And it's worse than slavery was. It's every people living in these smart cities or whatever. And it's hell. And the Black Mirror, the show Black Mirror, there's one episode where everybody goes on these bikes and they get points. And they can use these points, you know, to do things. But the show Black Mirror really does sort of give you a good idea of, like, you know, it's a big smack to the forehead, and a lot of it can be pretty, you know, hard to watch and disturbing, but it's really kind of where we are going if we don't just say, hold on a second, and you know, people are not able. I see a lot of people are not able, especially in my job. They're not able to go, hold on a second, wait, hold on, wait. Because they got to get on, they're on the treadmill, and they have to work to pay for things. And when you're unhappy, you buy more stuff, and then you have more debt. And so then, when you live beyond your means and you have more debt to pay, then you have even less time to go, wait a second, hold on. You want me to believe what? So then you hear global warming, you hear climate change, and all these people believe it, and so you think, well, it's got to be real. You think it's just conspiracy theorists that don't, and that's where we are. That's just where we are right now, and you know, maybe everyone will wake up, and maybe they won't, and maybe we will end up in that. I don't think that the decision's made yet, otherwise I would be really sad, and I wouldn't even be doing these videos, because there would really be no point. If we're headed towards Agenda 21, and I would just tell my children not to have children. So, that's where we are. You can do your own research if you want. And a lot of it, you have to, like, plow through a lot, I just have to say, because a lot of it's crap. But so anyway, if you really want to know, you just pray first. Or you could do zero research and then just look for the hate in your own heart and pull it out. And just calm yourself down. You really don't have to do Agenda 21 research. I basically kind of told you what it is. Through taxation, they steal land. They put more and more people from their free, you know, it's just taking away more and more freedom. And sticking people into cities where they can be watched. So, AI, that's what it is. It's basically taking people from rural areas and moving them all into these cities where they're taken care of, you know, by the government, and they're, you know, all your needs are met. It's so nice. It's so nice. Oh, and you don't. It's a lot. The Green New Deal actually. There's a lot of elements of Agenda 21, and like it really is like wow. I can't believe we're here. Like it came pretty quickly. It came quickly. That people were used as useful idiots because their minds are not calm, because they're not practicing the 5 agreements. Be impeccable with your word. Don't make assumptions. Don't take anything personally. Always do your best. And be skeptical, but learn to listen. I'm telling you, just listening and be skeptical and go, okay, maybe. And all the Zen traditions, I'm going to do more Zen stuff. But, you know, people cannot keep fighting each other. They keep fighting each other. And you could do research, but you don't really have to. You can also just raise your vibration. And that's why I started what I do, because it's like, you don't have to research climate change and all that. You could just be skeptical and learn to listen. But you have to be skeptical. You can't just buy into this stuff just because everybody believes that carbon dioxide, is gonna, yeah, carbon dioxide is what plants eat. We eat plants. I'm not gonna get scared of that. That's not gonna scare me. What scares me more is all these people just buying into this and then fighting each other, like really using it as a weapon. Oh my God. I don't know. It's like you have time to go march and fight, but you don't have half the amount of time on a computer to look up some stuff. Why don't people believe in, that was where I started. Why don't people believe, why would they say it if it wasn't true? Well, control, more taxes, power. Somebody started this company. Someone started a company that, because Leonardo DiCaprio, all these people, like, they're flying their jets, their private jets, which is what I used to do. I used to fly private jets. And I hated that job because I felt like I was part of the problem. I'd have these rich people, and they were supposed to leave at 10, so we had the airplane up and running. California was one of them. We're in California, up and running. You weren't allowed to start what an APU is, auxiliary power unit. And so without running the engines, it runs a little tiny engine that supplies electricity and air conditioning and all that. That's what an APU is. But it's loud. It's not comfortable. So that's why you see private jets, the engines aren't running, but you can hear them. That's the APU going. And it's cooling the plane, and it's providing electricity, and we could put all of our trip stuff in, and all that. Put in our gas, so we can do our weight and balance and all that, get that done. So these people were supposed to leave at like noon, I think. And then they weren't showing up. We're not allowed to start your APU in this beautiful place in California. Beautiful place. Right on the water. Can't remember the name. I can't believe I can't remember the name, because I was like, I wish I could live here. That's what I used to think. Poor California. Anyway, so you weren't allowed to start it till like 15 minutes before your departure time. And I was like, oh my God, the plane's not gonna be cool. Blah, blah, blah. But I followed. I couldn't wait to start the APU. I started the APU. These people had they didn't care. They could have made one phone call to say, hey, we're gonna take an extra 2 hours. We're there waiting for them. Hours with an APU running. And I did not feel good about this job. I was like sick to my stomach. I'm like, what am I doing with my time? Like, my time is spent sitting here with an APU running. I'm not trying to make anyone hate rich people. I'm really not. But if you do, look at that. Pull it out. These people are just ignorant, Hours with an APU running. Hours. And then the FBO keeps trying to shut it down. Like, hey. I'm like, I know, but so much stress for me. Because these people, we just lost track of time. We're on the beach. They're walking along on the beach. They had their cell phones. They could have made a call. And I'm like, and I didn't realize I was empathic at the time. This woman's telling me why they're late. She's thinking I'm going to think it's really neat. She's thinking, I've been stressing for 2 hours now. I've been stressing for 2 hours. And to be honest, when they showed up, I hated them. I hated them. Because one phone call, and I could have been like reading a book, but for 2 hours I was staring. 2 hours I was staring where the car's supposed to come through. Is it them? Is it them? Is it them? And I shouldn't have. I should have been like, screw it. And I should have been like, screw it. And then when the person from the FBO was like, shut that down. It's been going for an hour. I should have been like, talk to my company. Talk to my company. That I don't want to get fired. Talk to my company. But I wasn't. At the time, I was like so stressed. So when this woman showed up, when this couple finally showed up, okay? I'm so happy right now. I know I look like I'm back in it, but I'm so happy now because where I was all those years ago, where I am now, thank you God that I don't stress like that anymore, But when she showed up, I just wanted her to get on the freaking plane and let's go. I've been waiting forever. Not forever, 2 hours and 15 minutes. 2 hours and 15 minutes.
should get on the plane. And she's like, we were just walking on the beach and it's such a nice day. Isn't it such a nice day? I said, yeah. And she's looking at me, thinking that I'm going to be like, oh, that's so good. I'm so happy for you. Ugh, are you kidding me? Totally, like looking at her like, wow. Because I could feel that she really thought that I was going to be like, oh, I really like this lady. She's my favorite passenger. No. So, I love you guys. It's an hour. I can't believe you're still watching. Hi, Donna! I love you guys. Bye-bye.